Hi, my name is Ricardo Jackson, CEO of Campbell Health Solutions. I just wanted to hop in here before the show begins to let you know about our Tuesday late night clinic. Basically, it's every Tuesday from 5 to 9 p.m. by appointment only. We do HIV testing, primary care, wellness checks, STD screening, and treatment. So just give us a call at 561-208-6595 to schedule.
Well, hello and good evening and welcome to Positively Positive. And I'm your host, Susan Lee Mintz. Positively Positive highlights people, organizations, and resources, not just here in South Florida, but in Florida and all over the country. We've had guests on from all over because if you have a story, if you have an event you want to highlight, if you're in some way, in any way, that one little thread that has HIV, AIDS in there, we want to hear from you. Stories are powerful. Resources are necessary. And just because you may live in an area that doesn't have what South Florida has, or Palm Beach County in Florida has, the information that you get on a program like ours that is so exclusive to one area, even if it's just that one little thread that you have that has an HIV component, we want to hear from you because you make a difference in people's lives. You are helping someone on the other end of this show that you don't even know. So please continue to tune in and support Positively Positive because we are making a difference and we are changing that and helping reverse that stigma of HIV that still exists. That's it. My guest tonight is the founder in 2016 of, wait to hear this name, it's perfect for me, Rebel Recovery. Rebel Recovery, prevention, treatment, all facets, all avenues for recovery to keep you healthy and whole. Not just HIV, but he's going to tell you all about the other areas that Rebel Recovery helps you with substance abuse, drug abuse, to keep you healthy. That's another thing we're trying to do here. We highlight a facility like Rebel Recovery. What does that tell you? Recovery. And this man took the initiative to start it. And the groundbreaking works that he's doing in Palm Beach County is having a ripple effect all over. So I am so proud to have this gentleman tell you what are the services that Rebel Recovery provides. And you know when I take my glasses off by now, some of you know when I take my glasses off, that's the time for me to say, William Freeman, come on in.
Hello, Susan.
Good evening. Finally, we hooked up. Finally.
How are you doing today, Susan?
I'm great now that I have you. I want to know everything there is to know in the time we have about Rebel Recovery and be very detailed because our audience needs to know what you have done and what you do.
So first of all, let me clear the air. I'm not the CEO or the founder of Rebel Recovery. Nancy McConnell and her friend Justin are the founder and co-founder of Rebel Recovery. I'm just a advocate, a worker, peer specialist that believes the work that we do in Rebel Recovery is the most important thing that Nancy as well as Justin brought to life. Just a little story about Rebel Recovery. These two individuals started sitting on the driveway passing out Narcan to make sure individuals that are still using will not just use an overdose. They will have something to bring them back if they do overdose. Rubber Recovery founders thought that it was most important that they get individuals that have lived experience that work for them. So every individual that works for Rubber Recovery has a lived experience, whether it be with drug addiction, whether it be a street walker, whatever it may be. That part of Rubber Recovery is the most important part. How can somebody help you if they've never been there? So I'm so grateful for Nancy as well as for Justin for bringing Rubber Recovery to Palm Beach County and doing the work that we do.
All right. So in other words, these two people, when did they found this? When did they start it?
They started in 2016. You're correct
Oh,
about the 2016.
okay. So it was 2016. And the names of these two people again?
It's Nancy and Justin.
And where are they from? Where was it started?
It was started right here in Palm Beach County on the
Okay.
street corner of 40 Forest Hill.
And that's where
And
I picked up, so I went to get your information. That's where I picked up about you being the founder and realized. So thank you for clarifying that. But
no
what
problem.
are some of the services that Rebel Recovery provides, and how does one go about getting in care? And
So the first, let me answer the first question. The first thing that you came on about was talking about HIV. We're very focused on HIV and making sure everybody have safe sex. We believe in treating, well, not treating, but giving everybody the opportunity to know their resistance, whether they're negative, whether they're positive. We try to find resource to make sure that individuals have resources that they can have a sustainable life. That's one part of what Rubber Recovery does, the HIV part, which is ran by one of our HIV specialists, Nikita. One of the second things that Rubber Recovery does is our flash bus. We go out in the community and do exchanges. We're one of the only harm reduction agencies in Palm Beach County that does exchange needles for those that are still using, and to make sure that if you're going to use, why not use safely? And by doing so, Rubber Recovery has the exchange system where you bring in needles, we give you needles to make sure that you're using clean. That's another part. We're also in the county jails with our MELTS programs. Our MELTS programs work with the individuals in the programs that are in recovery while they're in the county jails, which is ran by Teresa. The third program that we have is we work with women that has had their kids taken away from them, and we help them go to court to work that program where they can get their kids back after they do their sessions. And that program is ran by Amelia. Um, the program that I run is B Core, is Building Community of Recovery, which is out in the Glaze area. Um, we all know that the Glaze area is one of the lowest resources in Palm Beach County. So when Nancy thought about the Glaze, she thought about, hey, why not use the individuals that live and know the Glaze? So I live out in Belglade. I'm a very great community advocate for the Glades, and I am also the Belglade office manager. So everything that the East Coast does, the Belglade office does as well. We have peer specialists out here. Um, that's another program. Then we have an educational part where we do education and help individuals like myself that has lived experience become peer specialists. So we do 101 peer specialist where individuals, no matter what organization you're from, you can come, they can come to our office and get trained to be able to take their peer specialist certification, which is ran by our, our, our founder, uh, Nancy, and a great friend of mine, Krista, and our our COO, Christina. So we have a lot of programs that individuals can tap into, and I'm probably missing some, but one of the most important thing is we're peer support. We go out in the community to help those individuals that are still out there struggling, that want to stop using or don't know their HIV status. So we're out in the community Monday through Friday from 9 to 5, hitting the grounds, um, and enjoying every moment of it.
That's wonderful. How do people, and where are you located? Where's your main office located?
So our main office is 400 Congress Avenue in West Palm Beach, and our we have 3 locations. We have one in Jacksonville, we have one in West Palm, and I just told you about the one in Belglade. The Belglade office is 929 Southeast First Street. The one in Congress is 400 Suite 201 in West Palm Beach. And Jacksonville, I just can't give you the address, but I can tell you it's in Jacksonville.
That's great. How does one get in touch then? How does one know to deal with getting, are you strictly drugs or do you do alcohol and other type of addictions, or are you strictly with drugs?
So substance abuse is not just um, crack cocaine, heroin. Substance abuse is anything that controls your mindset. So if you're drinking, we work with you. If you're um, doing, this is a new year, a new term that have taken over the crack scene. We work with those individuals that are still using crack cocaine. We're working with those individuals that are doing Molly, crystal meth, anything that you think that you have addiction of. We can work with you that you can be um, a stable, and you can have a realization of real life. You don't have to live in the tricks or the drums of your addiction.
How does someone get involved though with rebel recovery in general? How would somebody know?
So, so the best way to get involved with rubber recovery is by calling 561-660-1690. That is the Belglade office, and I can connect them to the West Palm Beach office if they're in the East Coast, as well as I can connect them to Jacksonville if we have people online that are in the North Florida area, Jacksonville area.
That's wonderful. What will you find? What do you find in your years of experience right now to be the most challenging for your clients?
So the most challenging thing is with every organization that is in Palm Beach County right now. In matter of fact, in the state of Florida, is housing. Um, Even though the Rain Right has funding for housing, if you don't have any housing, then how can you help someone? So
Mhm.
that's the main focus point right now, is housing. Um, but I can tell you this right here, with peer support, we work very hard with different I'm not going to say shelters, but homeowners, that we can talk to them and help individuals move forward, whether we're paying for them for a month or they're paying for themselves for months and afterwards. So it's the housing part is the most challenging. I Me personally, having a good relationship and great resources with every agency and network with different agencies, I think it is the best opportunity, because we just had to take someone to emergency shelter from Belgrade all the way to the East Coast today. So just having that relationship with the PBSO, having that relationship with the housing, having that relationship with the shelters, um, recovery centers is the most important thing that I believe.
But you certainly are serving a community that is in desperate need of housing. And
Right.
on the street, certainly if you don't have a place to live, you're not going to take your meds. You're not going to get off your, it's a very challenging thing. It must be hard for you to see people living the way they live, knowing that there's such a need for people to be in a house so they can get clean, or that they can take their medications properly and get the resources they need to stay healthy and get
Correct.
healthy, prevent
Correct.
relapses. Do you find
Yes,
relapse a big thing with what you're doing?
I do. I can say this right here. Um, because peer support is so different from case management. Peer support works with that individual. My recovery is abstaining from all type of uh, drugs, alcohol, no matter what. My recovery is not somebody else's recovery. Whatever their recovery is and whatever goals they choose to set, we work with them until they have met their goals and they're telling me, hey, Mr. William, thank you. I appreciate rubber recovery, but I think I can make it on my own now. Um, and and because peer support is so vital and so important, the the um the rate of relapsing is very little, but it's not the relapse that is 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 the point. It's that when that individual finds stability and something happened in their life, if they don't have that peer support, it causes them to go backwards. But because they have that peer
Yeah.
support, we work with them. And I'm just going to use this for example. For an individual that just got clean and abstaining from everything, and their parents passed, one of their parents passed, and they do not know how to deal with trauma or
Right.
death. So that peer works with them to understand, hey, it's okay to cry, it's okay to moan, but we can't not let this take us backwards. We got to let this grow us to be a better person for somebody else. So that's why the relapse is real low.
That's what, because you really have that interaction that's so
Correct.
crucial in a situation like this. When people are in crisis, the last thing they want to do is be put on hold. You know,
Yes.
you, you don't want to hear a prompter over and over and then elevator music continue to play when you're, a tick away from wanting to kill yourself. The other thing is, do you do in-house treatment, or everything do you have any treatment facilities in-house?
So Rubber Recovery is not a treatment facility. Rubber Recovery is a peer-led organization where we meet people where they're at. Um, what we do have is we have organizations that we contact, um, DAF, Drug Abuse Foundation, other agencies that we can contact that help individuals that are looking to for relapse, um, for prevention or treatment.
Can you put your light on? Because you got dark. It got very dark around you. There you are. Shine that
Yes, ma'am.
spotlight on Rebel Recovery.
Yes.
Yes. So, in other words, and how do you get funded? I mean, funding with every organization I interview, that they're all scrambling for dollars. How are you funded? It's been almost 10 years now that you've been in existence. So, how do you get your money?
So our funding comes from different agencies. We have Self Ben is one of our major entities that fund us. Um, we get funding from like the program that I work up under. We get it from SAMHSA. So funding is very rigid with us. We get funding. We're taken care of. Um, with everything that's going on right now, we're still moving. We're still mobile. as well as I can truly say this right here. Our CEO has said this right here, that no matter what goes on, we all has a job, and we're grateful for that. We're very grateful.
Next year, I'd like to have them on our show. Would be wonderful. We could have all of you together. Would be
I
really
would,
wonderful because
I,
they.
would- I
I'd
would,
like.
I would definitely love that. I will make sure next year that when this time come around, that I can get Christina, Krister, and some other individuals to be on with us to talk about the programs and everything that we're doing. Spotlight some of the individuals that we have,
Great.
um, that we that has grown from just a peer to where they're at right now.
And well, that's why Positively Positive. I had this idea, and Campbell Health interviewed me for something, and I told Richardo about this. And here we are, 30 shows into season 2. I mean, it works
Wow.
that way. You have to have an idea, but then you have
Correct.
to work it. And you can't
Yes.
be just because it doesn't work out one week doesn't mean it's not going to happen the next. Frustration is a huge part of working with people, but you can't let that frustration stop you from doing good works.
Correct. And I think Rebel Recovery does one of the greatest things that we do is, and I'm not saying this because I work for Rebel. I'm saying this because even when I wasn't working for Rebel, I was working for other agencies. The work that Rebel Recovery does with peer led, peer um, individuals that have lived experience is the most impactful thing in the world.
Mhm.
And other agencies are trying to do the same thing that Rubber Recovery does now.
Yeah, you're meeting people where they are, but you're dealing because you definitely love what you're doing. How did you find Rebel Recovery? How did you get employed by them? How did your journey start? Now I want the little personal, if you don't mind me asking.
I definitely don't mind. So, um, a lot of people don't know, because of the transformation. I've been arrested 84 times.
How
I've
many?
been 84,
Oh, that's wonderful. What a record. Okay.
and I've been to prison 4 different times. I had a drug addiction of 30 years for crack cocaine. I got out of prison in 2019, and I started working. I was working 2 different jobs. I was working for Gulfstream Goodwill, and I was working for, I don't know who else I was working for, but I was working for another agency. Um, and I met Nancy doing my training during COVID, and I always told her, I'm like, whenever you get a spot, I would love to come, but because of the background check, I would never be able to pass a background check. So, make a long story short, Rubber Recovery received some extra funding, and she was able to say, "Hey, matter of fact, let me back up a little. We was in a task force meeting for the Reentry program, and she was texting me saying, "Hey, um, what will it take you to leave one of your jobs or leave your jobs?" I'm like, me not knowing my worth, I said, well, just give me $18 an hour, which what I was making already. She's like, no, I mean, what will it take for you to leave your job? Um, so I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I'm trying to focus on the task force meeting and trying to understand what she's asking me. So she reached out to the CFO and she said, listen, I want to bring him aboard. How much can we bring him on board for? So she sent a number to me that I just can refuse. And when I started working, I didn't know anything about HIV at all. Um,
You
I
knew how
just
to
knew,
get arrested, but you knew how to
yeah,
get arrested.
of course I did. I did definitely knew how to do that. Um, so she brought me on as the HIV navigator, um, and my the grant was to go around Palm Beach County, starting in Belglade, in the Glades area rather, giving out self tests. But before I can give out a self test, I had to know what HIV was. I had to know
Oh my.
what, what this is, what that is. So I have learned so much about HIV by the grace of God, and I
Yeah.
thank Nancy for bringing me aboard, because not only did she open my awareness, but I can also talk to my community about, hey, you need to know your results. You need to know where you stand. HIV is not like 1985, 1986. HIV is like having sugar diabetes today. With all the resources, all the today's knowledge and medication, long as you stay doing what you're supposed to do, you can move forward in life. So that's where I got my job from. I started as an HIV navigator, um, and she worked with me for the last 2.5 years to get my level 2 clearance exemption, and I got my exemption. Now I'm a Florida certified peer. No matter what my 84 arrest was, no matter how many times I've been to prison, I'm a Florida certified peer now. I can walk the walk that I do. So I'm so grateful for Rebel.
But that's what's so interesting when we talk about stories on this show a lot. We love organizations, but I'm very much into the story. How did you get to where you are today? And I don't deal so much with that background many times because I don't have the time. But with your situation, that's what I want to know. Again, you hit me and I started laughing. I mean, 84 times is a lot to get arrested and to be you were involved, you said, with other things. I mean, you were in prison how many times? And or where you've come from, you probably thought that this was God ordained, that
Yes,
you ended up where you did.
yes. And I still like have to pinch myself to make sure that it's not a dream. Um, but the most important thing, I can say this right here, the most important thing is the jobs that I did have, it gave me an opportunity um,
Mm.
to see more and pull resources from different things that I never knew exist. Like what Rebel Recovery does. If I have somebody that come off the streets that need, let's say, going to need a shelter, I have that resource to go to that, to make that phone call. Or what if I'm in the city of Rivera Beach? I have resources that I can make phone calls to help that individual, and that's what I'm so grateful about. Is that Nancy does not stop me from learning. She encouraged us to learn and to move, not in just one spot, but move farther in different areas.
Well, because you've been empowered by this act from God, to these Nancy and Justin coming along and give you this opportunity, as if you can say, well, who am I that I should be given this blessing? The flip side is, though, you have been empowered. And if you're empowered, you can empower others. And that's such a big part of what you do and what Rebel Recovery does. You have to not just treat a person, you have to empower them so that they feel themselves that
Correct.
self-worth, that self-esteem, because just to tell them doesn't do any good. They have to be built on that also.
Correct. You're definitely right about that. And one of the things that I like to do out here in the Glaze area is um, every month, January, the new year, what do we do in the new year? We do a vision board. Everybody want to set goals. Everybody want to set, what they want for the end of the year. So what we did a vision board party. What is February? February is Black History Month. Um, we did a something for Black History. Women's History Month is in March. So Women History, what we did out here in the Glace area is that we honored 6 women that's out in the community that has really um, not only helped individuals but advocate in their community. Um, April is Second Chance Month. So what we did was a Second Chance Month job fair. May is put your green on, mental health awareness. So what I try to do is I try to bring awareness for every month. um, in the Glaze area, and they're trying to do the same thing out on the East Coast. Like June the 27th is National HIV Testing Day. So what we're going to be doing National HIV testing. We're going to be testing. We're going to have a carnival. It's the summertime. The kids going to be able to enjoy themselves in the bounce house. Um, our CEO is going to be in a dump tank, so we'll be able to dump her in a couple of water about 1,500 times. So we just like to have fun, and we like to bring awareness to our communities.
Well, you certainly are. And see why an interview like this, a show like this, you are passing on information. And even there, that vision board. Think about somebody who's somewhere else in the country and they're looking for a way to help their community. Something like that vision board, which you do every month, something that we're sharing.
Yes,
Palm Beach County is unique in many ways, but we're sharing so much that can go out all over the country and be
yes,
able to give people ideas how they can impact their community. And not always with HIV, but that's a component. Most issues that people deal with, whether it's families, whether it's substance abuse, there's many times, if you think about it, there is an HIV somewhere, hidden somewhere. And this show just brings that out. And someone like yourself, I mean, who would have thought? I mean, it took a while to get to you, but look at what you're doing in the
yes.
Glades. I mean, it's so powerful. Vision
And
boards. Who would have thought? Whose idea was that?
of course, it's my idea. I'm like, everything that I have to say this right here. First of all, in a rural community, our focus is on what we know best. In our rural community, football is what they know best out here. Um, Individuals don't think about where they're going to be in 2027. They don't think about that. So with me being out in the Glaze area and bringing awareness to, hey, this is what we need to do, is like, okay, let's try it. And you got to realize this right here: being arrested 84 times, being in prison 4 different times to total of 15 to 16 years, it gave me an opportunity to open my eyes, say, hey, if I'm not gonna never go back to prison, I got to help every individual I can. And by doing so, I got to be a creative. I can't just be inside the box. I got to step outside the box,
Mhm,
not the norm, but outside the box to help
mhm.
everybody I can. And that's what I try to do.
Well, you certainly are, but the majority of people I've met in my life literally don't know what that means to think outside the box. It truly takes entrepreneurs, people who have been through hell and back, people who have many times suffered so much. You have to really have the fortitude to go out there and start something, but it starts with you. If you have a
Yes.
passion, use it. You have a passion, and you where you've come from, you share that testimony, and that testimony for kids, especially, I would think little children, the kids. I know the Belgrades, a lot of African American kids over there too. I'm sure your testimony and your being out there has impacted many young boys and girls.
Yes. and and not just the young, the old as well, because they look at me because I'm in. And let me say this, Susan, I'm not an office person. I'm not, but I'm in the office, and sometimes I wear um, nice clothes. So when they come into the office, they look at me like, dude, you just gonna tell me the same thing that somebody else told me, and I have to let them know. I'm like, before we even begin, let me tell you where I come from. That way you can understand why
Mhm.
I'm doing what I'm doing. I don't want you to just come here. Oh, he's in the office. He's just gonna say A, B, C, D, and E and push me on. All right, no, bro. I have been arrested 84 times. I have been in prison 4 different times. I had to, like, literally cry almost 2 whole years to get where I'm at, to get my level 2 exemption, to be a peer support, to be somebody that I can, I know doctors are make mega money and they have the doctor behind their ears or their names. But me, as a returning citizen that just got out of prison in 2019, that has a certified peer specialist behind their name, is remarkable. And because of Nancy advocating for me, that's the only way I could have got it. If it was just me working by myself, that's the most important thing about peer support, is that we advocate for those that are needing advocating. And that's what Nancy did. She advocated for me to the point where I have my certification, I have my exemption, and I try to help every individual that I can. And let me before I forget this, as a returning citizen, I'm really high on breaking the chain the chain generational cycle.
Mm.
Individuals going back to prison. So my focus point is a lot on reentry. I try to work with those that's been impacted by the justice system. 85% of them don't have their license.
Mm.
Some of them don't even have their IDs.
Mm.
So we focus on how do we. This is your goal, but what was one of your goals that you would like to get done within the next 90 days? I would like to get my license back. I would like to get my license. So why don't you have your license? I'm like, well, because I owe court costs. Let's see what we can do to get your court costs taken care of, that you can be a, a Florida driver. I'm like, so we work with different different programs to help individuals be stable and would never have to worry about living on the streets again or use again.
You really live in baby steps with people. You can't have them think 5 years from now. They have to think what they're going to be doing tomorrow, because that's about,
Yes,
their first reaction is still they're going to want to go back to using. So you have really got to hit them where they really feel your passion and your love. And the other thing is, we talked about the funding issue, but what would be the number one drug? What is the substance that you're seeing the most use of now in your
well,
area?
in the Glaze area, it's Molly, it's crystal meth.
Yeah.
um I so everybody know that they're trying to legalize marijuana. We know that everybody smoke marijuana. So, but the number one drug choice out here in the Glaze area is crystal meth, which is Molly. Over on the East Coast, the number one drug is heroin, or I hate to say this, but fentanyl. Um,
I was just going to
even
say
though,
fentanyl.
yeah, fentanyl is the number one drug that on the East Coast is, and they had the overdose down for a minute, and now it's back up on the rise. So we're passing out Narcan. We're trying to make sure everybody have Narcan. So let me say this right here to anybody that listen to this: if you need Narcan, call me. If you need Narcan, email me. We have Narcan to give away. That way,
That's,
you can put it in your car. I know everybody go to Walgreens or to a supermarket and they see somebody nodding. Make sure you have that Narcan. It's important that we have Narcan today.
and how do you get it? How do you get it? The amount
How
that you
do
use?
oh because of a grant, we order tons of our Narcan.
So it's
Um,
through a grant.
yes,
Is it a federal grant or a state grant?
it's probably a private grant.
Okay. Yeah,
Yes,
because you're going to be limited if it's federal at this point. You're probably looking over your shoulder.
you got that right. it's
Yeah.
probably it's probably a private grant that we get, and the Flash um Austin is our Flash and Rad director, and he makes sure that we have Narcan. He just came out on an email, or not an email, but we had a staffing meeting where he's talking to all the managers to tell everybody, listen, make sure we have Narcan in our car to pass out to people, because the overdose is rising now more than ever. So
Is there one age group that you're seeing the most addictions with?
No, it's definitely not. I have seen, I've seen seen young kids. I've seen individuals that are um 25 to 30. I've seen people my age, 50 to 60, that are still using. Even when in 1985, when crack cocaine came out in Palm Beach County, I was up in that ring, and I still see those same individuals still using. Um, and then I even also see elderlies that are using. So it's no set age that individuals use. But I can tell you this right here: it's easy to help individuals that want to be helped. That's the
Oh,
most important.
sure. You can try all you want, but if the person doesn't want to quit, they're not going to quit.
No, they're not.
And that's the sadness of it all, is that there's so much wealth out there. There's so much
Yes,
money out there, but there's so many people who have nothing. And
correct.
you're throwing them a lifeboat. And you just have to continue to pray that you're able to continue to do this. And the people who started this, Justin and Nancy, I mean, to think about them, they're saviors to people. How many thousands of lives you've helped.
You're definitely right. And and the thing about it is, I'm so grateful um, that they started this, not just to save lives, but to give people like myself the opportunity to work and use my lived experience to help those that are using, those that are just coming out of prison, those that are street walkers, whatever, those that are HIV positive, just to help them
Yeah.
find a purpose in the everyday life. So I'm grateful.
It's remarkable. And as I said, that's what this show is about, is sharing information. I love the vision board. No one has ever talked to me on a show and talked about a creative idea like that. And I just think that's something that all over the country, people who want to get involved can easily do what you're doing. And if they watch this, um, where are Justin and Nancy usually? Are they in any one
So
specific place?
so Justin is no longer with the organization. It's Nancy now. Nancy is the CEO, and Nancy's everywhere. She she she's everywhere. Nancy, she's in the West Palm Beach office, um, mostly. Then she might get on the road and go to Jacksonville, or she might just get on the road and just come out to the Glaze area. But she's everywhere, and we truly appreciate everything that she does.
When it comes to what Rebel Recovery does, I'm sure that you have people involved who are bilingual, because you probably have people who are Hispanic or
Correct.
people from the islands. And so do you have bilingual there, people who can help
So in the
interpret?
Belgrade office, we have a bilingual individual. In the West Palm Beach office, our we do have bilinguals. Hispanic is there as well. Um, we're working we're working on something now in the Belgrade office as well. I believe we're doing it in the West Palm Beach office too. Is to bring our Hispanic population um, numbers up, because we know that 85% of the Hispanics are alcoholics. Um, and how do a family continue if father is drunk and laying out on the streets? So I'm working really hard on trying to find those individuals with our new staff member, Fatima, to work with our Hispanic population.
Yeah, because you also have to break that cycle, as you said, the generational cycle.
Yes,
And that's a big part of it. If you don't know any different, you're going to do what your mother or your father did, but you're out there. But you really like what you're doing, don't you?
yes.
You do like what you're doing. You're
Oh,
grateful. That's the word that comes through very clear. You're grateful for this opportunity. to
Of
be
course, I'm
helping
like,
others.
of course, I'm like, you know, I'm so grateful. Let me tell you this, Susan, and I know that it's almost our time to go. I'm so grateful about this opportunity. When we opened our office out here in the Glaze area, my wife worked for Gulfstream Goodwill for 23 years, and she know what I do. Do you know she threw them 23 years away and said, I'm coming to work for Rebel? So my wife is our office manager. And so it's a great opportunity for anybody to tap into to help individuals that are suffering from HIV. If they even don't even know their status, let's find out their status and help them
Right.
in recovery. Those individuals that are walking out of prison doors, you know, we're here to help individuals that want help.
Well, I want to say it took a while to get to you, William Freeman, but you're going to be right on next year for sure, because this was an amazing show. I want to thank you. And we put your information up
Yes,
so people can get to you in Rebel Recovery. And we'll let you know also when your show is going to air, because it might be
yes,
a
ma'am.
little while, but it's going to air. And I just say thank you so much for finally being on and being able to do this incredible interview. And I want to thank all the people who watch, who share their stories, who care about Positively Positive, because we are doing something very different. We saw a need and we're filling it one story at a time. You can follow Campbell Health Solution on all social media. You can follow me on my website, susanmintz.com. Check out all the podcasts that we did last year and this year so far, and books and all the other stuff. So you can follow me on all social media. Also, at this point, I can't even keep them all straight. But William, thank you so much. And thank you all for watching Positively Positive. And I'm Susan Mintz, and I'm always going to be committed to love.